Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tough Talk for Tough Times. I have a really tough one for you today that, we want to be discussing. And I want to just welcome my co-host, Nita McLean. Hope you're having a wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you. Hope your day is wonderful.
And so what we're going to be talking about today is a subject matter that I think is extremely important. And we want to get opinions about it, but also to put it on the table so that we can hopefully help some of you out as you move along in the future. Just to give you some background on how this topic came up, this is something that happened quite some time ago. It happened to be a true story that there was a young couple that were, moving with their relationship and was had planned to get married. And so they had gone to their pastor and asked their pastor to do, the marriage counseling. Well, the way he did his counseling was that he would counsel the woman first, and then the man, and then the couple, so he could make sure that everything was as it should be. Mm-hmm. Well, when he was counseling them, apparently, when he counseled the female, some hanky-panky went on in the back. All right. And so as time progressed and the story unfolded, what we learned about this incident was that she had been dating the pastor.
Wow. Before
she began dating this young man. And so during the counseling session, a decision was made. Well, let's, one for the road, so to speak. I'm sure y'all understand where I'm coming from. Of course, word got back to the young man. And of course, that meant it was turmoil. So I think that the question then that you get from that, because certainly the young man would wonder, why didn't you tell me this? Why would you have me coming to get counseling from someone that you have had an affair with? So I think the question we have to ask ourselves is then, with that in mind, should you reveal to your partner all the baggage that you had in your past? Before you solidify that relationship, because it can be devastating.
Yes.
So what do you think about that thing?
Well, I did a little research on this topic, and of course I got it from the internet, but it was about 5 things from your past that you should tell your partner. And one of them is you should tell your partner about any medical procedures that you have gone through, because something happened later on and they don't know about it. I've known even a couple who they didn't disclose they were diabetic. Mm-hmm. And then when they've gotten sick and they went to the hospital, then the wife found out, oh, he got all these medical conditions that he never told me about. So those are one of the things they were saying you should tell your partner. And the next one is anything that you think that may be detrimental to the relationship without going too far. Let's say you've had a past of experience of some type of abuse. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that may affect your relationship with that person. And so you're bringing, like you said, what type of baggage are you going to be bringing in there? Mm-hmm. But they're saying, let that person know that I may be acting a certain way sometimes because this is what happened in the past. Mm-hmm. And there's other few reasons, but what are your thoughts?
Well, I want to jump to the juicy stuff, because, but you're absolutely right. I think that anytime, as I tell people when I'm counseling them, you need to know if there's mental illness in the family. Okay, so that's a part of the past, because you know what, you don't want to find out later on, because the person that you're with has an episode, that there was an issue.
That's true.
But I think I remember one episode that I watched. I think it's called Living Single. I think it's the program where I can't think of the gentleman's name, but the one that used to had the little twisties in his hair. Kyle, right? When Kyle and the other young lady that they had a Maxine had a love-hate relationship, and one of the episodes, the issue that they were arguing about was who had the most partners in the past.
Okay.
And Kyle was, and Kyle wanted to make sure that she didn't, upstage him by having more partners than he had.
Right.
And I think that's something that oftentimes can be problematic. Not, when people, I mean, should you tell your partner, if you were, if you had hoish tendencies, I put it like that. In the past. Yeah, right. Right. If you had those tendencies, should your partner know? Should you let your partner know that when we go to this cookout, that these three guys over here, they have tasted the Kool-Aid?
Well, this is what I say. I looked up some things. So, yeah, I love looking at Steve Harvey shows. And what Steve Harvey said is there's two main things you want to know. You want to know where the ex lives at. So if the ex lives in the same town, is there, like you said, a probability you're going to run into them and it may create a problem? That, somebody say, oh, let's go this way. When if you go take this straight path, you're going to get there faster, but you're trying to avoid an ex that you never disclose to your partner. So those things happen. Then the next one was, are you still connected with that person? Are you connected with them either through a business, through other family relationships? And is that person still connected with your family? Because, that happens a lot.
Right.
They're still close to that first person, even though you moved ahead. The mom loves them or the sister, brother still likes that person. So he said that's the main two things that you should find out. Even though people don't want to disclose anything, at least disclose those two. Okay. That's just his perspective on that. I thought it was interesting. And then he said for women, never say you've had more than 3 partners. I don't care if you had 30 partners.
So you're saying,
It's Steve Harvey, it's not me.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking then. So are we saying that it is okay to lie?
Well, I'm not saying it, but it's a need to know. I always say a need to know.
Well, this is my question then. I'm saying, let's say you have had more than 3 partners, right? Then are you saying that it would be okay to only say 3, or to be honest and say it's been more than 3, and who the 3 or 4 are?
Okay, so
I mean, even not just for a woman, but for a man
right,
too.
for both sexes.
Yeah.
So I just looked at some numbers, and I'm hoping the people who are looking at this podcast will weigh in on it. Send a vote whether you should tell everything or should not. It'll be great to see how everybody else feels about this topic, because the numbers were showing, they just tell you why you should or should not. Like they said 5 other things you should not tell is any wild sex stories. So if you had wild sex stories, don't tell your partner, because you don't want your partner looking at you at a certain way, but like, I can't believe she did that on the beach. They say don't go into a new relationship telling wild sex stories. And don't tell trivia family drama. Like my brother and sister, they hate each other, man, this, that. Right. They're just saying when you first meet somebody, don't go into all that family drama.
But what about after you've met them, and let's say, I guess here's the question I want to throw out at you. And that is, at what point do you tell them then? So, I mean, granted, when you first meet somebody, you're not going to say that, I've been to a nudist colony and blah, blah, blah. And I like the, that kind of thing.
Right.
But at what point in relationship do you tell them, or do you keep that to yourself? Because my thinking is that I want to know. See, I want to know. And I want you to tell me everything I ask. Because let's just say.
And why do you want to know? Why do you want to know past, like something happened 15 years ago, somebody was on the beach having sex? Why do you want to know that?
Because I don't want no surprises.
How do you want to get a surprise?
But guess what? I'm going to tell you how, okay? Let's say you think you're marrying a virgin, okay? Either one.
Right.
A male or a female virgin.
Right.
And then one day, y'all been married 2 years or whatnot, and they pull some freaky stuff on you. And then you're like, wait a minute, where you learn that from? Because I know you didn't get it off TV. So now your mind going.
That's why they say don't tell everything.
Wait a minute.
Because it makes people's mind go just like that.
But if you tell me ahead of time, it's my choice. That's what I'm saying. See, I'd rather have it be my choice. If you tell me ahead of time and you say, hey, listen, let me tell you right now. When I was in college, I was a stripper. or whatever, or, you know, if I went through college, or I was a prostitute. I'd rather you do that, and it's my choice, you know, to say, well, okay. Because I'm just saying personally, me as a person,
Right, right.
I can deal with that. You know, I really can. What I couldn't deal with is if you don't tell me, and then somehow your friend get mad at you, or your sister get mad at you and say, you know your girl was this, and you know your girl was that. See, now I'm thinking, wait, why are you hiding from me? And who you been with? So now every time we go to a function, I'm gonna be sitting there cross-eyed, looking. Well, I can't get cross-eyed, but I'm gonna be sitting there side-eyed, looking, and wondering which one of these jokers she been with. And why did he shake her hand like that? You know, why did he hug her like that?
Right.
Whereas if you up front tell me, then it's boom. I mean, that's me. That's how I look at it.
Right. They was just showing that everybody cannot take someone telling them everything up front.
Right.
Because then they become very judgmental of them when the past was really their past. So you may be able to deal with that, right,
Mm-hmm.
as an individual, somebody giving you full disclosure of their past.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people that can't. It sticks in their mind, oh, wait a minute, he done been with 16 women in the past? I'm probably number 17. He's probably not serious. And so you've already shut down that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a good pendulum of, do I tell? Do I not tell? Can this person handle the truth? Like the movie said, can you handle the truth if I give you the truth? Or do I got to spoon feed you like a baby, a little bit at a time? Tell you a little bit of this, then when the timing is right, tell you a little bit more. You know, I'm not the judge. I hope everybody do weigh in on this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, give some examples of things happening in your own personal life where you think, I should have told. I should have went on and been up front, because later on it came to bite me in the tail. Or I wish I wouldn't have never told, because now that's all I hear.
Well, see, I want to know who I'm with. I'm just saying that's me. I want to know who I'm with. And that's what I advocate for any relationship. A person has a right to know who you are, you know, and not find out later on. It's kind of like if you meet a guy, let's say, right, and he's living in a condo downtown, you know, he has a nice, you know, convertible Mercedes, so forth and so on. But in North Carolina, he got 5 kids. Okay, that's his past.
Right.
Now, he don't tell you because in his mind, hey, I don't see the kids, you know. I finished paying child support, so, you know, it is what it is. We had a horrible relationship, and I'm done, right? How would you feel, though, if one day somebody knocked on the door? You done married him now, and a grown kid knocks on the door and say, hey, Dad, you know, I just wanted to repair the relationship, and here go, you know, your grandkid and everything, and you as the woman be like, what?
I would be upset. I mean, I would be mad. And I think it still go back to those same 2 statements that you want to know where that person is. Are you still in contact with that person? You know, where are the exes? You know, what type of connection that you have, because then they will disclose that. And I love looking at Tommy's show. It's about couples meeting up.
Mm-hmm.
And on one of the episodes, the guy knew he had 2 kids, but he didn't want to tell the group.
Mm.
And so as they start asking him questions, and he was kind of closed off about the answers, come to find out he's still in touch with the baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
And he has 2 kids. But like you said, because he didn't tell them up front, all the women sat at the table and said, we don't trust him.
Well, and that's the thing. That's to me.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I don't know.
They didn't trust him. I'm sure it goes both ways, but that's what happened in the incident.
I think, you know, on the first date, you know, we don't need to talk about all that stuff, right? On the second date, maybe we're going to talk about it. But I think as time progresses,
Right.
you know, I guess this is how I would look at it. I mean, you can't tell somebody, I mean, you can, but telling someone every detail, I think, is, you know, that's a little bit much. And we don't have time to do that.
Right.
But I think, to me, that you ought to reveal enough information as when it starts to get serious, you know, and you can see it's getting serious. I think you ought to start revealing information so that won't come back to bite you. you know.
Right.
So again, I'm just saying, if you tell someone, for example, well, you know, back in the day, you know, drugs were not like drugs are today, and you know, we sampled this and we sampled that, and we didn't have, you know, all the stuff you have now. So you know,
Right.
it was a time of free love, and you know, so forth and so on. And but that's what the times we lived in, right?
Right.
If you tell someone that, to me, I'd rather hear that than after we get married, or after, you know, then I hear, who's that? That was, you know, oh, that's John. I didn't think he was gonna come back in town, but he did, or whatever. Because nowadays, living in a different city don't mean a whole lot.
Right.
It used to
Right.
be if you lived in a different city, then you would never see the person.
Right. Right.
But nowadays, it ain't the same. You can live in you can live in different cities, you can live in different states.
Right.
People will drive to a close state to go to a comedy show,
That's
or go
true.
to a concert, you know, or whatever. I remember one day I was in Kansas City to a football game,
Right.
and somebody yelled my name. You know, I mean, it wasn't
He
an
was in
ex.
the Virgin Island and they yell your name.
Right, yeah, I'm way down there in the Virgin Islands. Somebody yelled my name out. So you just don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is that, for me anyway, you know, and I get, and like we say, you know, it has to be a personal decision, and I think people should comment, you know, how you feel about it. I just like full disclosure. I don't like surprises. So I just, you know, there was a case, and I give this example right quick, and then, you know, we can talk about it a little bit. Just recently, I was watching television, and there was a case on TV on one of the court shows where a woman was suing her fiance because she said that he destroyed their their engagement party.
Wow.
Now, what happened was that she had an affair, okay, while they were, you know, dating and thinking they were exclusive. The affair was with her ex. You know, I guess, you know, they, whatever reason, they get to go have lunch and they talking, and one thing lead to another, and they end up at his house, his apartment, whatever it was. So at now it wasn't an engagement party. It was it was the, what do you call it?
Bachelorette?
No.
Oh.
You know, when you have the rehearsal, it was the
rehearsal dinner.
rehearsal dinner, right? So they at the rehearsal dinner, and she invites the guy.
Wow.
Because her thing was, he was, and here, like you said, he's part of the family kind of deal.
Right, right.
So she invited him, right? Well, it just so happened, he hears two family members talking. You know how folk do when stuff happens. They whispering.
Right. I can't
believe he heard it. So he approached one of the family members, and of course they had to fess up and say, yeah, that's the one that she told you she had the affair with. And so he didn't tell her he knew, but when it came time to do the toast, he toasted the guy.
Wow.
And said, you're a better man than me, obviously. She liked being with you more than me, because he was a little more graphic.
Wow.
And so then he just put his glass down and he walks out. So she was suing him because she said, right, he destroyed all that, you know, stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Now, I'm saying, to me, like, I'm like him. And his point was, two things. Number one, he should have invited her. That's
right.
But he said she should have been honest with me. Her reasoning was, he's a friend of the family. He's my best friend. And so with that being in mind, you know, my mother said she wanted him to be there. My father said he should be there, all this kind of stuff. I didn't want to disappoint all of them. To me, she should have just told him up front, this is what's going to happen. You know, are you okay with that?
Right.
You know, full disclosure. I'm just saying, to me, that's why
I mean, in that instance, that makes sense.
Yeah. I go for full disclosure. I don't want no surprises.
However, I got some more comments that came off the internet, though. Mm-hmm. One of them said, set boundaries. When you're going to have full disclosure, set the boundaries, and keep your expectations in check.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And don't talk too much about your ex. Because some people talk way too much about their ex when they're meeting a new person.
I agree with that too.
What about don't overshare? I don't think you agree with that one.
See, well, yeah, I do in a way, but I guess what I'm saying, what I'm looking at is in informing and giving the appearance that what you left is better than what you are now with is different. See, if you're sitting there talking about your ex and the things y'all did, and you smiling and laughing and when you're talking about it and all this kind of stuff, then yeah, because to me that's like a slap in the face.
Right.
But if you're just saying, I just need you to know that, back in the day, I wasn't a choir member. I
Right.
wasn't this, this delicate little flower. I wasn't the angel you see in front of you right now. To me, that's what I'm saying in general. I'm not saying you tell every little detail. To me, the boundaries have to be too that if you ask me, you can't get mad at me.
Oh yeah, that's a good boundary.
If you ask me and I tell you the truth, then that's it. You can't get mad at me for it. Now, you certainly have a right to be disappointed, but you can't get mad at me because I'm telling you the truth. And if you don't want the truth, don't ask me. Then that's my thing too. So that's why I agree with the boundaries thing. And I agree that you have to keep your expectations in check. But see, my expectation, and I learned this from my elder brother. See, my expectations are that everybody got some skeletons in the closet.
Right.
So that's my expectation. If someone tells me they were a pure heart, mind, body, and spirit, see, I don't believe them anyway. I think you're lying to me. Because you know what I'm saying? I just expect that everyone, especially if you lived in the 1970s,
If you were, period.
Well, I'm just saying though, right, and you're right, but I'm just saying the 60s, and young folk don't know nothing about this too much. I know they think they do, but they don't. If you lived in the 60s, if you were a teenager in the 60s and the 70s, it was
hippies.
Right, it was a whole different ball game. Hippies was a whole different, I think that was, when we say free love, that was free love. That was, LSD and all that stuff that, people were just experimenting, and were just out of their mind. In the way they handle things. It was not unusual for somebody just to be on the side of the road and thumb a ride with you and get in the car and go cross country with you.
Right.
And by the time you got cross country, y'all was in a relationship.
Right.
That's just the way things were back then. Not that I did that, but that's the way things were back then. So I'm just saying that from that standpoint, to me, it has to be a point where my expectations is always going to be that what you are nervous about telling me is going to be something that you're not proud of.
Right.
Because if it wasn't, you would just tell me.
I think there's two concepts to that. Sometimes you don't have to disclose everything because if it's never going to come out, then why hurt that person for nothing? There's a song that's called "Don't Tell 'Em, Don't Tell 'Em." Like you mentioned James Brown song. There's a song say don't tell them. What you don't know, that cliche, what you don't know won't hurt you.
Right, okay, don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. And then you have that movie Best Man. When they did not tell and it came out and just broke loose. So there are it's so many instances where you can go on either side. You can say, hey, well, I wish I would have never told that. If I would have never told that, then all this stuff wouldn't have happened. But more often than not is you should have told.
Yeah, and
I agree with that.
What you said is certainly sound and solid, and I want to say to the people who are out there, what she said is sound and solid, and that is, if the person won't find out, right, then if you don't tell them, it's no harm, no foul. My position, though, is it shouldn't be left up to you. That you can't control what I should know. I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I should have the right to make a decision about whether or not who you are is who I want to be with. And so you shouldn't hide who you are. You shouldn't hide who you were, because if you did it, that's a part of who you were. That's what made you what you are today. And if I'm so shallow that what you were will stop me from loving you based on who you are, you don't need me anyway. That's how I look at it. You don't need me if I can't be honest with you what I did. But what I did shaped what I am. And it don't mean I'm a bad person because I did bad things. It just means I'm a bad person. You know, I did some bad things. But it could have been doing something bad that made me the better person.
Right, but you know, I'm just going by the numbers, what I see that's out there on social media, you know.
Yeah.
And with the new generation, you can barely hide anything because now everything is posted.
Right, yeah.
So you can be doing something, somebody done took a picture of you and already sent it to your girlfriend or boyfriend. You don't even know, you probably even have not had the opportunity to even make a phone call.
Right, yeah.
So this is a new day and age.
Absolutely.
You're right, especially even with social media, things getting out before you can even get them out.
I think that probably 95% of the people will agree with you that if it's a don't know, don't tell policy. That if you will never know,
they wrote a song about it.
Right, you don't need to tell. And from the point of view of the person that has the stuff in the closet,
right.
I'm sure they're going to agree with you. But I look at the person that don't have the stuff in the closet.
Everybody has stuff in the closet. Well, come on now, everybody has stuff in the closet.
Everybody does, but some folk closets is a little more junky than others.
And some people can't clean up junk. They can't deal with the junk that you have to get to them.
No,
some people just can't take it.
No, I agree with you 100%.
I know men and women, they be like, I wish they would have never told me. If they would have never told me, I wouldn't have these thoughts that I can't get out of my mind. And I had a girlfriend, her husband was cheating on her, and she said, you know what? He told me the details. And she said, I cannot get it out of my mind. She said, it makes me so angry every time. So I think sometimes it's better left, hey, even if he was said I messed up with this person, he didn't have to go into details of how he messed up. You know, I think that's that don't overshare everything.
No, that part I agree with wholeheartedly. And I don't debate that part. All I'm saying is, that's why I say I think 95% of people agree with you wholeheartedly. But I think there's also a group of people that will be saying, I want to know.
Yeah, it is.
I want to know. I don't care
know
what
too.
it is.
I don't need to know the details though.
Yeah, I don't need all the details, but I want to know. You know, and I'm not talking about something that happens. When I say past, I don't mean something that happens after we got married. I think anything that happened after we got married, I got a right to know.
Right, you talking about before?
Yeah, I'm talking about stuff that happened before we get married. You know, should you know the dirt I did before we got married? You know, and that's my thing.
Like, should you know I had 2 boyfriends before we got married?
Right. Or right.
Personally, I think it's nobody's business because that's over. But hey,
but I'm just saying, if I ask, I think
yeah,
you
ask,
if I ask you, I think you should say so.
Yes.
And I should know if we go to counseling and the preacher is your ex-boyfriend, I think I should know that.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You go to surgery, you done dated a doctor or somebody.
Yeah, I should know that. You know,
I agree with that.
I think those are the kind of things that you should tell me, not after the fact, but beforehand. Say, listen, you need to know that reason why I was getting A's in all these classes was because me and the dean, we were doing what we do.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes it's not all just based on messing around either. Like I said, some of them may be mental. Like you said, mental health issues.
It could be mental health.
What's going on with your family history?
Financial stuff, right?
Yeah, that's a major one.
Yeah.
You know from your position, that's a major one. You never told me you couldn't handle money.
Right. Or you didn't tell me you filed bankruptcy 2 years ago.
Or you just recently filed bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Or you paying bills for your other family members.
Right. Or you got this back child support. Yeah. So, and so now we can't go overseas because you can't get a passport. And I didn't know you couldn't get a passport.
I have seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
People have not disclosed their financial, and then they're going through a separation.
Right.
They finding out at the last moment.
Yeah. I know a couple that couldn't do the honeymoon because he did not disclose he had back child support issues, and therefore he could not get a passport. So they had to cancel the trip. Been planning for a year, and now that's what happened to him. Well, listen, our time is about up, but I think it certainly is always interesting. But I'm going to give you the last word because I had the last word last time.
My last word is please submit your comments. I have a lot of friends, and they will send me emails separate, telling me what they think about items or discussions, but they won't put it in comments. So please comment, give us some feedback. We really would appreciate it, and love you guys.
All right. God bless you. And y'all have a beautiful week, and we'll see you next time.